Hey kids, good to see you. Miss Christie's been working me out in the yard. Oh my gosh, I've been working so hard, it's break time. We looked at our clock and said, hey, it's time to do a video. It's time to spend time with our scientist friends. So we came in and I was having a snack. Man, that's really good. And Miss Christie, you gotta stop working me so hard in the yard. So welcome to Mr. Patrick's Laboratory. We are so glad that you're here today. We're having a great time. A couple of things I have for you today. Many of you have been sending me notes and things that I've been seeing down below. I've seen pictures of kids with their goggles. I've had comments of kids helping their parents learn how to wash their hands properly. That one's important today. I've had people showing versions of Mr. Patrick's Laboratory, their own versions. They are awesome. Thank you. Keep it up. I'm having a great time just watching them all. Thanks, kids. Thanks, moms and dads. We're having a great time. Now, I have a couple of shout outs for a few people. I have some people that helped me along the way. One of them is my friend, Mr. Caleb. Mr. Caleb is a chemistry teacher also, and he helped me with a video, a demo that I did a couple of videos back when we did density, and we made that different layers, that density cylinder. Caleb, thanks for helping me. We're doing this together. Thanks, I appreciate it so much. I also have somebody that's helping me today, Miss Bethany. She's a biology teacher, and she helped me with some of the things we're going to do today. So Miss Christie and I were working out in the yard, and as we were getting ready for our video, and we're just getting ready, you know, it's springtime, and things are starting to come alive, and Miss Christie likes to have all kinds of flowers and things in the yard, and we're working. It really got me thinking, man, this is something really cool we can talk about. And so instead of having Mr. Patrick's Laboratory and kitchen here in the house, we're going to take it into the biggest laboratory I know about. You know, science is always learning to explain things in the world. And so we're going to take it outside today. And we're going to be going outside into my yard, and we're going to talk about all the cool things that science has. Now, it's springtime here where I live, and you're starting to see a warmer day and things are happening. Where you live, it may not be that way, or maybe it's been that way for a while. We're going to see all kinds of cool things that are happening today. Now, today what we're going to really focus on is more in the area of biology, where my friend Miss Bethany teaches that all the time. And so today we're going to be talking about plants. Now you may think, man, I like doing experiments and stuff. Well, everyone's different. I've taught biology myself. There's some really, really cool things that we can learn. And so what we're going to do today, Miss Christie, is we're going to start by talking about plants. So she's going to come in and zoom real quick on what we're going to talk about. And so what I want us to do is we're going to talk about the basic parts of plants. Now, some of my older kids, you may know this, but for plants, we're going to talk about 3 parts of plants. Now, there's all kinds of words on this paper, but we're going to talk about roots. We're going to talk about stems, and we're going to talk about leaves. So let's talk about this real quick. All plants are going to have a root system, and this is where they get their nutrients and they get their water that they need to live. Then you have the stem. This is the part that comes up out of the ground, and as it comes up out of the ground, it's going to hold the leaves that you see, and leaves are where you're going to have photosynthesis take place. Hey, got a quick question for you. Do you know what photosynthesis is? Hey, this is going to be a great discussion because we're going to have a field trip here in a minute, and you're going to have a field trip with your parents. I want you to talk about what is photosynthesis, and you may think, I don't know exactly. You can look it up online, that's fine, but that's a question I want you and your parent to talk about. So let's go back to our picture real quick. Photosynthesis is going to take place in the leaves, and so you're going to talk about that, but we're also in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about flowers, and then we're going to talk maybe a little bit about fruit here in a minute, but I really want us to talk for a second about roots and stems and leaves. All right, you got those 3 parts? Now I'm going to use an example here real quick. Here's an example from inside my house. This is a normal house plant. It's an ivy, right, Miss Christie?
Yes, sir.
It's an ivy, and it's an ivy. I'm going to show you the big plant here in a minute, but one of the cool things about plants is you're going to be able to see all these parts. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull one of these out here for a second. Boy, look at that long root. Okay, so you can see this root that comes, it's really, 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 really long. And then you can see the stem, and then you can see the leaf on this one. Now this is a really unique plant because you're not going to take a seed in this. What we do is we have a really big ivy plant and we share it with some of our friends. And so what we end up doing is if somebody wants one of these ivies, you can actually cut it, put it in water like we've done right here. So there's lots of different ones inside here. And you can see inside, you can see all the roots that are growing. And when the roots start growing down into the water, all we have to do is give it to one of our friends. They put it in a potted plant with some soil, and then it'll grow for them. And it will grow and be really long. And so if they want to share it with one of their friends, they can do the same thing. Now we just saw those 3 parts. What were those 3 parts again? roots, stems, and leaves. And you just saw it on it, okay? And these are all different ones that when we get to be around our friends again, we're going to share them with our friends so that they can have them. Now, not only do we have plants that have roots and stems and leaves, and they all have that, some plants have flowers. And I really want us to talk about flowers. That's going to be one of our focuses today. So, Miss Christy, we're going to look at this here for a minute because we're about to go on a field trip outside and we're going to look at these. Now, here's a picture of a flower. It happens to be pink. And again, there's lots and lots of words on there, okay? I'm not going to focus on all the words. I'm just a couple of them. One of them I want to talk about is the sepal. Now, that's a really weird word, so I'm going to flip it over because I have a different picture that's going to help you. This is on the back of a flower. Have you ever seen where you're going to have a flower and it's ready to open and we call it a bud and it's going to open up and then you have a flower? That's the sepal. Okay, that's what's holding together before the flower bursts open. Okay, so this is the back of the flower that we're looking at. So let's go to the front of the flower. Okay, so that would be the sepal that we were just looking at. And then in this case, this is a pink flower. Okay, now flowers are very pretty, but I really want to focus on what's on the inside. You have these really long tubes right here, and on the very end, it's called the anther. And this is where you have pollen. So in this picture, they're yellow. Now, at my house right now, there's lots of, when we wake up in the mornings, there's a lot of yellow on our cars. When the wind blows, we have pollen, okay? And so that pollen is all over the cars. Now, here's something for you. I have a little bit of allergies. Man, when I wake up in the morning, I want to sneeze, and my allergies are really bad because there's a lot of pollen in the air. I wonder what all that pollen's for. I know the answer. Let me show you. Okay? So the pollen is going to be on the inside of the flower where it's on the anther. Okay? And then what's going to happen is that pollen can get in the end of what is called this stigma right here. And see there's a little tube there? Okay? I really want to focus right here. That's called the ovary of the flower. And that's going to be super important because I'm going to show you something really cool here in a minute, kids. And you're going to be able to surprise your parents. I bet your parents don't even know. And so this is the ovary. And what's going to happen is some of this pollen blows in the wind and it goes down in here. And then you're going to end up having in the ovary, this is where you have seeds. And then the seeds are going to develop. And when this flower dies and this flower falls off on the ground, when it gets to the ground and gets enough water, it can grow a new whole plant. This hides the seeds and it protects the seeds. Now, you've probably heard from my older kids, how does that pollen get into this part? Well, there's a couple of ways. One would be insects. Wonder what kind of insect could do that. I'm gonna let you and your parents talk about that. Okay, it's different insects, the wind, I already said that a while ago. There's some different ways that this can happen. And so we're going to look at parts of flowers. Now, I have an example real quick for you. We bought this box and it says wildflower mix. Okay, it's just wildflower mix. And we just found it at the dollar store, parents. It was $1 for it. But kids, I want you to see something real quick. I want you to see the seeds. Now, if you look at it, it looks like pepper. It is a mix of 17 types of seeds. Look how tiny some of those are as Miss Christy gets real close. Some of those seeds, so you can see the size of my finger, those are tiny. And so what you do is you get your flower bed ready and you sprinkle this on there, and when it rains, those seeds can germinate. And when they germinate, meaning they burst open, and then they can start growing all new plants. And so in some of the areas you live in, you'll see lots and lots of wildflowers on the side of the road. See, we live in Texas. And as we drive down the road, at this time of year, we're going to see bluebonnets, and they just grow wild. Okay, we see bluebonnets, and we see Indian paintbrushes, and we see all kinds of different flowers. The flowers where you live may be very different. As a matter of fact, if you get a good picture, you know, a lot of us are getting to go out and get some exercise and walk around and check out some stuff. If you find some really cool flowers, hey, put some pictures down there. I want to see what they look like in your area. I bet they don't look like the flowers in my area. But these seeds that we were using right here, we were working in the yard. Remember I told you we were working in the yard? We're working in the yard because we're going to throw these down, and when these grow, there's all kinds of flowers that we're going to see. So Miss Christy's already been working in the yard getting things ready, and so what we're going to do is we're going to get ready to go outside. We're going to go to the biggest laboratory that I know. And so there's going to be a little bit different things. So you're going to have to get yourself ready for this thing that we're going to be doing. Okay? So it's going to be really important. I don't need my lab coat because I'm not going to be using my lab coat when we go outside. And so I've got myself ready to work in the yard. As a matter of fact, when you were close, you probably saw some dirt on my face. Yeah, we'd already been working in the yard. I don't need my goggles today. And so, yeah, okay, this is really important. You know, that sound is our goggle sound, and we're going to always have safety. Safety always comes first. Now, our safety is going to be a little bit different when we go to this new laboratory. So let me show you what we're going to use. This is going to be really important. This is sunscreen. You need to put some sunscreen on if you're going to be outside for a while. Some of us have really sensitive skin. It's okay. Put the sunscreen on so you can be safe. Now, for me, I have a couple other things. I'm going to wear my hat because I don't want to get a sunburn. Now, that's a big old hat. I know it. It looks really cool on me, doesn't it? But I'm also, instead of goggles, I have my sunglasses. Now, these are all choices. I can choose to wear a hat, or I can choose to wear sunglasses or sunscreen. But I also have to know that the safety says, if I'm going to be out in the sun for a long time, it's best that I wear sunscreen. Boys and girls, you might want to have some on. Your mom and dad, your grandma, you might have some. Because we're about to go on a field trip. Now, kids, if you've done a field trip at school, when you do a field trip, you have to have a form that's signed so that you can go and you can get on the bus and you go do things. For this field trip, you don't need a signed form. Our field trip for you and me is going to be in my backyard. Now, your field trip's going to be wherever it is you live. So let's take the adventure into my backyard. Let's check out some stuff. And then you can try some of this stuff at home. All right? So let's get ready. Miss Christy, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. I'm going to go into our backyard. Now you're going to have to excuse our backyard just a little bit. We're working on our stuff, but I want you to check out the back of my shirt. Okay? Back of my shirt says, some people only dream of meeting their favorite scientists. I get to teach mine. I'm super excited that we get to do this time together. All right? Now, I want to show you the first thing we got real quick. Remember that plant I showed you inside? That's that ivy that we share with our friends. Look how long that is. The other day before Miss Christy clipped some stuff off, it was all the way into the ground. Hey, look who I found. Our security dog. He's already in the backyard. Thanks, Baxter. Thanks for keeping us safe. And so this is that really, really big, long ivy that we cut off of, and we have cuttings that we can share with our friends. Okay? So let's go check out some other things out here in the yard. Now, Miss Christy's more of an expert than I am, so she's going to be my helper for some of this. But we're going to look at, if I'm correct, Miss Christy, these are petunias.
Yes, sir.
Okay, these purple ones. Now, you can see they're starting to droop. We got a little bit of rain last night, but it wasn't enough. So we're watering here in a little bit. We're setting up a whole bunch of others. But I want you to really, really look. I want you to look inside there. Can you see inside that flower?
Yep.
See all those parts? Okay, Miss Christy, I'm sorry, but I'm going to show them something. I'm going to open that flower. There's those parts we were just talking about. Now, in the picture a while ago, they were yellow. Those are white, okay? Those are white. That's where all that pollen is. And then you can actually see that stamen right there. And then down here in the middle of that flower is the ovary. It's where it all comes together at the bottom, right there. You can see that really, really good. And so all these flowers have that same part. Now, that flower is going to die because I took it apart, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it off, okay? But I want to show you some other things. I want to show you the roses that have been growing. Remember a while ago I showed you on the back of that flower you would have a sepal. Now, it looks like a bug's been running on this one, but see how it's closed? After it's closed, it's going to start looking like this. See that flower trying to come out of there? Okay? That flower's trying to come out of there, and then we're going to move over on this side real quick. And you're going to see one that's really starting to open. Okay, see the sepals on the back there? And you can see the petals. But inside of there, you're going to see here in just a minute all the different parts of the flower that are inside. Now, as we go along, maybe we're going to see some of our helpers around. Okay, you're going to see that there are some insects on here helping us out. Oh, where'd he go? I saw him fly by. Maybe we'll catch him here in a minute. Okay? And so look at this really big flower. Look how all the petals on this flower are opening up. So this one's not going to be around much longer. So Miss Christy, I'm going to open this one. We're going to be able to see all the parts inside there. Look at all of that. You can see all of the different parts of the flower. All these flowers, if they're really big or really small, oh, that's really better right there, Miss Christy. See that? All right. Those are all those parts. Now, if I take that flower and look on the back side, see the ovary there up at the very bottom of that? You can see that. Now, You may think, well, I'm not really interested in flowers. Flowers are beautiful, okay? People give flowers to other people. Now I want to show you these little ones right here. If I'm correct, these are, which one are these, Miss Christy?
That's lantana.
This is lantana plant. Look how all the flowers grow next to one another. Right there in the very middle, you can see ones that are trying to open, and they will here in the next day or so, but all the ones around them are already opened. And so flowers are really, really interesting. They all have the same parts. Some are really, really tiny. If I even opened up one of these, it'd be really hard to see all those parts, okay? And so that turns out really, really cool, all right? Now let's go look at some other stuff. Sunflowers are going to grow on trees. Now, this one is really cool. This is a pear tree. Now, when you start having spring at your house, your plants may look like this. See, there's nothing on it, okay? There's not much. I see a little something right there on the very end. At the very end, I'm gonna have all the leaves start coming out, and then it's gonna start looking like this. Now, I want you to look really close at that. These are cool flowers. You can see all the different parts of the flower on the inside. Now, if you look on the backs of them, you can see the back side of it really good as well. That is really cool. Look at that. Yeah. And so what's going to happen is I have these leaves starting to form, and then I have these flowers. Okay? Now I'll show you what another one looks like that's slightly different. They haven't opened yet, have they? So they're all in a little bit different place. Okay? Now, this plant right here, what we're hoping is when these flowers fall off, maybe we'll get some pears this year. Now, this plant's not very old. This tree's not very old. And so this year we may not have fruit. See, I was eating a pear when we started, right? It wasn't off this tree. We bought it at the store. But we're hoping in a couple years that the pears that I like to eat, they come off my own trees, okay? And so we're hoping that you're gonna have these flowers, and these flowers are then gonna become fruit. And I'm gonna show you how that works here in a minute. Now, show you a little bit more of what's going on. I want to show you these little pink ones right here. These are called dianthus. And as she gets really close to that, you're going to see all the parts. Look right there at that one. Look how cool that is. You can see all the parts of that flower. And it just happens to be this pinkish color, this pinkish purple color. It's really nice looking. Okay? And you're going to see some that have already starting to die off. Okay? And some that are just trying to open up. They're all in different places. There's one right there that's about to try to open up. If you see that one right over there on that side. Yeah. So you can see all those parts that we were talking about. Now I'm going to show you the stuff that I'm super excited about. I like flowers because flowers sometimes bring us food. Let me show you what I mean. Check this out. Oh, this one's real cool. I'll show you this one real quick. This one's from the clover family. And when this clover gets to the spring, look at all those pretty pink flowers. They look cool in your garden.
You want me to tell you a fun fact about these, Mr. Patrick?
What's that?
When at nighttime, when the sun goes down, these flowers close up every single night, and every morning when the sun comes up, they open back up.
It's like opening their eyes up when the sun comes out.
You can tell that it's getting a little bit later in the day because some of them are starting to close up already.
That's really cool. Do all flowers do that? Nope. Some of them do though. Now, these really, really cool, interesting ones. Oh, I love these. I love these. I love these. Okay? There's a little bit more of the dianthus, like that pinkish purple ones we just had, but these look like almost like I spray painted it. Look at that one. It's white and it's got splatter on it, and you can see in the middle all those parts of the flower. That one turned out really cool, but you may think, why am I interested in that? I'm not as interested in that as I am about this. This is a blackberry bush, and this blackberry bush makes blackberries that I get to eat. Okay, I like blackberries. I like fruit. This one's really cool. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to have some flowers. And you can see there's stuff that's starting to happen. If you look right there, Miss Christy, see that bulb right there? You can really see when that flower opens, this plant is going to be covered with flowers. Okay, and then the one next to it is my favorite of all. I like blackberries, but I really like blueberries. This is a blueberry bush. Okay, and look where there's flowers. See all those flowers? They're sort of a whitish color. They have a little bit of pink to them, a little bit of pink here. Here's what's really important about some of these bushes. When they make fruit, okay, once you look right here, this is really interesting. Wherever a flower is, that's where you'll get fruit. So if I look right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17. I can have up to 17 blueberries. A blueberry is going to be at every spot where there's a flower. So I don't want to reach up and pull that flower off. Okay, I want that flower to be there so that when that flower dies, that's where a blueberry is going to be. That's what's really cool. So on some plants where you have a flower, there's going to be a leaf. But on others, if it's a fruit plant like this one, wherever there's a flower, you're going to have fruit. And you know what? That goes in my belly. I like it. But I want to show you one other thing. Miss Christy and I were getting ready, and I dug this up earlier because it's actually a weed. But I left it, I put it back so you could see it, but I want you to check this out. When I pulled that out, okay, I'm gonna lay it just like that. Look how long that root is, okay? I don't really want that in there. This is a weed, and that weed is just taking up space. So we pulled it out because we don't want that. We're gonna get rid of that. But this is where we're gonna put some other cool stuff. I like the blueberries. I like the blackberries. I can't wait. I'm gonna have that fruit. What's Baxter doing? Hey, dude. Thanks, man. Stay close. Okay, what are we gonna do with these in the summertime when they bloom? I'm gonna make some smoothies. They're gonna have blackberries and blueberries in them. But got one other thing that's really, really cool for you. Come over here, one more thing. What we're gonna talk about here for a minute is this plate, okay? Now on this plate, I'm not in the sun, so I'm gonna take this off here for a second. All of the different things that are on here are all fruits that come from plants. Yeah, I know they're fruits. I've learned they're fruits. Now, some of you may look, okay, that banana doesn't look very good. Here's why I like this banana. Because when this banana gets a little bit more brown, you know what happens? Miss Christy makes banana bread. And you know what? I like banana bread. We didn't eat it fast enough, but this is gonna end up being banana bread. So, I wonder, why does it look right there? That's where it was hanging on the stem of the banana bush. Okay, isn't that cool? Okay, so it hangs, okay, on that banana tree. You're gonna end up having these grow. Okay, now you may think, okay, check out this apple. This one we bought at the store. I'm like, yeah, I need that one. Check this out. Do you think somebody put a string on it so I could pick it up because I wanted it? No, I want you to look really close at that, Miss Christy. That's actually where it was attached to the tree. Okay, so I'm gonna show you. Here is the amazing thing for you kids, and I bet your parents don't know this, okay? So I'm gonna show you this picture one time, then I'm gonna show you where it is, okay? Look right here on this picture. You see where we said that's where all the seeds are? Okay, so you're gonna have the pollen that goes there, and it comes down, and this is where the seeds are formed. Fruits have seeds in them, don't they? So check this out. Where this flower is, remember I said a while ago, where a flower is where a fruit's gonna be? What's gonna happen is, when it gets fertilized and it makes seeds, these flower petals, these pink ones in this picture, will fall off. And this ovary right here, the plant starts giving it nutrients there, and it's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually, you're gonna have a fruit. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You see, on the bottom of this apple, Miss Christy's gonna have to get really close. You see that? And you probably don't know this. Do you see that on the bottom right there? That is what is left of the flower that became this fruit. So I want you to look at it like this. The flower was right here at one time, just like this, and it was pretty on that apple tree. And then eventually it got fertilized and the petals fall off, and that ovary gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and we call it fruit. We eat it. Yeah. I like it. It's really good. But the cool part is, that's the flower. Now, I want to show it to you on a couple of others. Now, check this one. These are grapes. You've seen this before, but I'm going to let Miss Christy get really close. I'm going to take a grape off here, and I want you to look where that grape was. Right there, at one time, there was a flower there. And when that flower bloomed and it died, the fruit started to grow there on the vine. And I like grapes. That one's good. So is that one. And that one. And even that one. And then there's other fruits. Remember I was eating a pear a while ago? Check it out. You can see the flower on almost every one of them. There's the flower that it came from. And so a pear tree makes a pear. An apple tree makes an apple. Okay? And that makes total sense, but I want to show you this one. I want you to see this orange. This is where the orange came off the tree, okay? So somebody reached up and pulled it off. But I want to open this orange for you real quick. I want you to see something really cool. Matter of fact, I love oranges also, and I love the way they smell when you open them up. But I want to show you this part. I'm going to pull it away a little bit so you can see it on both sides, okay? Now, when it comes from the tree, ready? Watch this. When I go to pull this out right here, Watch what comes out of the middle of the orange. You see that? Look at that thing come out of there. See that? That's where the tree was attached and it was sending its nutrients. And when that flower died, that ovary started to grow, and that's where the tree continued to feed it. Now, here's what's really cool. When you open it to the other end, hurry and get to that other end real quick. Check this out. This is so cool, Miss Christy. Come here. See, even Baxter over there sneezing. You might not have heard him, but he has allergies too. And so being outside with us, he sneezes some. Okay, check it out. Here it comes on the other end of the orange. When I go to open that thing up. Come on, Mr. Orange. Boy, that's juicy. Look on that end. There's that same piece. So really it went all the way through. Okay, so when I pulled it out that one end, you could really see it. And now there it is right there. And then it was attached. So it was like that all the way through. And so that was the flower. And when the flower got big enough, it started swelling up and it became ripe. It becomes the orange that I like to eat also. Are all fruits sweet? Well, this is a lime. It's not very sweet. Okay? But we use it for things. Miss Christy loves it in her tea. That's awesome. And so we have all these different things. So here's the deal, kids. Next time you have fruit, show your parents. That's the flower. That's the flower on the apple tree. Now, I have an adventure for you, okay? You have homework, and here's the deal. We did adventures in my backyard, and these are just the things at my house. The stuff at your house may be really, really different. The things in your house may be very different. You may have different fruits. Check them out. Look and see if you can see the flower that they came from, okay? Things that are on vines, things that come from trees, other things that come from trees, things that are on, man, there's just all kinds of cool stuff. And here's the adventure. I want you to be able to go with your parents and look at the backyard and check out plants and check out flowers. And some of them are going to grow wild, and some are going to be ones that you planted. And I want you to be able to do that. Now, you may not know the name of every single type of plant, so I've got something for you. Parents, grandparents, whoever it is, I got something, and I wrote it down so I said it right. My friend, Miss Bethany, wanted me to make sure and say, you can put on your phone this app called Seek by iNaturalist, the letter I, Naturalist, Seek by iNaturalist. And it's an app you put on your phone. And when you put that app on your phone, it's free. You can take a picture of that plant up close, and it tells you how to do it. And when it takes a picture of it, it'll tell you what kind of plant it is. It can tell you if it's something that can, that maybe it makes something that we eat. Maybe it's something just for animals to eat. You know, animals have to have plants to eat as well. And so there's all kinds of really cool stuff. So what I want you to do is, I want you to get some really good pictures of some of the plants where you live. They're going to be different than here, and share them below. I want to see some of those pictures. I wonder what you've got. You know what, Miss Christy? Oh, I don't know what to do. These are my favorite apples. Hey guys, we'll see you in the next one. We're going to have a great time together on Mr. Patrick's Laboratory. Hey, go out into the big, great outdoors to the big, big laboratory. Have a great time. Post your pictures. Let's have fun together.